I can't afford coffee, the poor girl admitted on blind date. The single dad CEO ordered two and smiled. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's return to our main character. The soft hum of conversation and the faint clinking of silverware fill the warm, dimly lit cafe. Each plate gleaming under the golden glow of the overhead lamps, as if it were a work of art. Lily Thompson adjusts the strap of her worn leather purse and smooths the creased hem of her thrifted dress, her fingers trembling slightly as she steps inside. Her reflection in the glass door shows her scuffed shoes and the uncertainty in her eyes, reminding her that she doesn't quite belong here. She exhales deeply, whispering to herself, "I promised Sarah I'd do this." She scans the tables, murmuring under her breath, "Table 5, table 5." Her heartbeat thuds in her chest, loud enough that it seems to drown out the soft jazz playing over the speakers. At the far corner, a man with neatly combed dark hair sits alone, a tailored navy blazer outlining his broad shoulders, his attention fixed on the glowing screen of his phone. Lily takes a cautious step toward him, forcing a bright, nervous smile, and blurts out, "Hi, you must be Mark. I'm Lily. Nice to meet you." He glances up, startled, a brief flicker of confusion crossing his face before he offers a polite nod and a hesitant, Hi, Lily." Lily's cheeks flush, and she fidgets with the edge of her napkin, immediately launching into small talk to fill the silence. "I know blind dates can be weird, right? Sarah said you might be a little quiet, so don't worry. I can talk enough for both of us." Mark opens his mouth to correct her, but hesitates, reading a text from his assistant canceling a morning meeting. There's something about her genuine smile and unpolished sincerity that makes him pause. She's unlike anyone he's met in boardrooms or at charity galas. He allows a faint smile to tug at the corner of his lips. "Right, blind dates are something else," he says softly, his voice steady, drawing a surprised giggle from Lily as she relaxes slightly, taking a sip of her latte. "I'm a barista," she admits, fingers twisting the hem of her apron under the table. "Not glamorous, but it pays the bills. Most of them anyway." "What do you do?" she asks, tilting her head with curiosity. "I work in tech," Mark replies vaguely, watching her animated expressions, enjoying how she talks with honesty and enthusiasm. She laughs lightly, eyes sparkling as she recounts a funny mishap from her morning shift. And for the first time in months, he finds himself genuinely amused, a warmth spreading through his chest. She glances down at her cup, whispering, almost to herself, "I can't even afford coffee." Mark's eyes soften, and without hesitation, he gestures to the waiter and orders a second cup with a smile. "Let's make sure you don't have to worry about that." Lily freezes, surprise flickering across her face, unsure if she heard correctly, and then she laughs softly, the tension melting. For a moment, the bustling cafe, the background chatter, the clinking silverware, all fade away, leaving just the two of them sharing a quiet, unexpected connection, each unaware of the other's full story, yet feeling that something extraordinary has just begun. After that unexpected moment at the cafe, Lily steps back from the table, cheeks still flushed, and glances around nervously as if hoping no one noticed her awkward admission. Mark Parker, the man who ordered the extra coffee with a calm, knowing smile, leans back slightly, observing her quietly, sensing her unease but finding it strangely endearing. The cafe continues to hum with life around them, the faint aroma of roasted beans and baked pastries mingling with the warmth of the morning sunlight streaming through the large windows. Lily takes a deep breath, trying to steady her racing heart. She tells herself she has to stay composed, that blind dates are difficult enough without adding a million other worries to her mind. She thinks of the stack of overdue bills waiting on her kitchen counter, the rent that is already 3 days late, and the small art studio she has been dreaming about for years. None of these practical concerns seem to fit the moment, yet they sit like a weight on her chest, making her words tumble out more nervously than she intends. "I mean, it has been a really crazy week," she admits, fiddling with the corner of her napkin, her voice soft but carrying the trace of vulnerability. Mark nods, his expression attentive, eyes following her every gesture without judgment. "I can understand that," he says gently, leaning forward just a little, his elbows resting on the edge of the table. "Work has been challenging for me too. Sometimes, it feels like everything is demanding at once." His words are careful, almost measured, but they carry a warmth that puts Lily at ease. She laughs quietly, almost in disbelief at the comfort she feels from a man she met only minutes ago, under the wrong assumptions. The awkwardness of the initial misunderstanding, sitting at the wrong table, seems to dissolve in the space between them, replaced by the slow, budding curiosity that draws them together. Lily begins to tell Mark about her shifts at the local coffee shop, the way she sometimes skips meals to make sure she can pay the rent, the little sketches she carries in her worn notebook, full of ideas for her art. Mark listens intently, asking questions with a genuine interest that surprises her, never interrupting, letting her voice fill the spaces between the cafe chatter and the soft background music. He notices the way her hands move when she talks, animated and sincere, how her eyes light up when she describes her creative dreams, and how, despite the struggles she faces, she carries herself with dignity and a quiet strength that is compelling. As they share these small stories, a subtle connection begins to form, one that neither of them can fully articulate, yet both feel deeply. The minutes stretch into an hour, and the initial tension gives way to comfortable silence, broken only by laughter and shared smiles. Lily glances down at the sketchbook tucked under her arm, and Mark notices it, curiosity flickering across his face. "You are an artist?" he asks gently. She nods, cheeks coloring slightly. "I love to draw. It is the one thing that makes me feel free, like I can create a world just for myself." Mark smiles softly, and for a moment, he allows himself to imagine the life of someone with such passion, someone who finds joy in simple acts of creation despite the pressures and struggles surrounding her. It is a rare honesty, unguarded and pure, that he finds difficult to resist. The waiter returns with the second cup of coffee. Placing it carefully in front of her with a polite nod, Lily offers a small, grateful smile, her hands wrapping around the warm cup, feeling a flicker of security she has not felt in months. She takes a slow sip, letting the warmth spread through her, both physically and emotionally, and she realizes that for the first time in a long time, she is not alone in carrying her burdens. Mark reaches for his own cup, and in that small, simple gesture, there is an unspoken acknowledgement of the unusual bond forming between them. Neither speaks of the future, of jobs, bills, or responsibilities, but the unspoken understanding hangs in the air, a quiet promise of attention, kindness, and perhaps the beginning of something neither of them anticipated. Outside, the morning sunlight shifts, casting long shadows on the floor, and Lily feels an unfamiliar sense of hope stirring in her chest. She wonders how one wrong seat, one brief moment of embarrassment, could have led to this unexpected, genuine connection. Mark, for his part, watches her subtly, a mixture of curiosity and admiration flickering in his eyes, aware that there is more to her story than what she has shared, and he is quietly determined to learn it, to be part of it, if she will allow him. As the cafe continues its steady rhythm of patrons and quiet conversations, the world outside carries on. But at this small corner table, Lily Thompson and Mark Parker begin the tentative first steps of a story neither of them could have predicted. A story that promises laughter, warmth, and the slow unfolding of trust between two very different lives. After finishing their coffee, Lily carefully gathers her notebook and apron, feeling a strange mix of relief and curiosity as she stands to leave. Mark Parker watches her movements, noting the slight hesitation in her steps and the way she clutches her belongings, a silent signal of her cautious nature. The morning sun has risen higher, casting a soft glow through the tall windows of the cafe, and the quiet hum of the street outside blends with the distant sound of car horns and footsteps, creating a rhythm that matches the tentative beat of their unfolding connection. Mark decides to take a chance, offering a gentle suggestion. "Would you like to walk with me a bit before you go?" Lily glances at him, surprised, a small smile tugging at her lips as she nods, and together they step out into the crisp air, the city bustling around them but feeling strangely distant as they fall into an easy rhythm, matching pace with each other. As they walk along the sidewalk, Mark asks about her day, carefully listening as she recounts her morning at the coffee shop, the rush of customers, the spills, the awkward moments, and the small triumphs when a regular customer smiles or compliments her work. Lily speaks freely, her words flowing more naturally now, buoyed by the sense that this man genuinely cares, that he is not judging her for her modest means or her struggles. Mark shares a little about his own life as well, keeping the details vague but sincere, mentioning the long hours he spends managing projects, the challenges of balancing responsibilities with personal life, and the quiet moments he finds for himself when the city sleeps. He laughs softly at an anecdote about a recent office mishap, and Lily laughs with him, the sound light and genuine, blending with the ambient city noise. They pause briefly outside a small park, the early morning light illuminating the dew on the grass. And Lily spots a sketch of a tree she had started in her notebook, tucked under her arm. Mark notices the worn edges of the pages, the way she holds it protectively, and gently asks, "Do you sketch often?" Her eyes brighten, and she explains her passion for drawing, how it allows her to escape the pressures of daily life and imagine a world beyond her current circumstances. Mark nods thoughtfully, impressed by her dedication and the quiet strength it reveals. As they continue walking, their conversation meanders from favorite books and childhood memories to dreams for the future and small acts of kindness they have witnessed, each story revealing more about their values and character, creating a subtle but deepening bond. Lily begins to feel a warmth she has not experienced in a long time, a sense of being seen and understood without pretense, while Mark finds himself genuinely intrigued, wanting to learn more about her life and the resilience she displays despite her challenges. The bustling city around them fades into a soft background as they find a quiet corner to sit on a bench, sharing a moment of stillness, watching the world pass by. And in that pause, the earlier awkwardness of the cafe seat mishap seems a distant memory, replaced by a fragile but promising connection that neither wants to end. Lily glances at Mark, hesitating for a brief moment, then asks, almost shyly, "Do you come here often?" Mark smiles, the faintest curve of amusement and warmth, and replies, "Not really, but today feels different, does it not?" Lily nods, feeling a flutter of anticipation she cannot fully explain, and for a few quiet minutes, they simply sit together, letting the city hum around them, sharing small smiles and exchange glances that speak volumes. Finally, realizing she should get back to work, Lily stands, gathering her belongings. But Mark gently insists, "Perhaps we can meet again. Maybe over coffee, that you do not have to worry about paying for?" She laughs softly, a blush coloring her cheeks, and agrees with a nod, her heart lighter than it has been in months. As she walks away, she turns once to see him watching her. A small, reassuring smile on his face, and she realizes that the wrong seat at the cafe has led to the first chapter of something unexpected, a story that promises laughter, understanding, and the gradual unfolding of trust between two people from very different worlds, each step marking the tentative but real beginning of a connection that might just change the course of their lives. Over the next few days, Lily Thompson finds herself replaying the chance encounter at the cafe, the warmth of Mark Parker's smile, and the unexpected kindness lingering in her mind. She continues her morning shifts at the coffee shop, the routine of steaming milk and wiping tables grounding her. Yet there is a subtle shift in her perspective, a lightness that was absent before. On her break one afternoon, she notices a small card tucked under her tip jar, handwritten in careful script. "Meet me at the corner park tomorrow at noon. I would like to continue our conversation." Her heart leaps as she reads the note, a mixture of excitement and apprehension washing over her, and she quickly tucks it into her apron pocket, her fingers brushing the edge of the folded card repeatedly, as if seeking reassurance. The following day, Lily arrives at the park, the air crisp and bright, sunlight dancing off the leaves of the maple trees lining the walkway, and she spots Mark leaning against a lamppost, his posture relaxed yet attentive, a warm smile greeting her as she approaches. They walk along the winding paths, discussing small, personal stories, and Lily begins to feel a trust forming, an unspoken understanding that this man is interested not in her circumstances, but in her character and her dreams. Mark shares stories from his own past, carefully chosen to reveal glimpses of his humanity without exposing the full weight of his responsibilities, allowing Lily to connect with him on a genuine level. As they pause at a small fountain, Lily notices the way his eyes light up when he listens to her speak about her art sketches, and she feels a rare comfort in being seen, not judged, not evaluated, just appreciated. The conversation drifts to more playful topics, favorite childhood books, odd hobbies, and funny anecdotes from their respective workplaces. Laughter flowing easily between them, the initial awkwardness of the blind date now completely replaced by a natural rapport that neither expected. Mark suggests they visit a nearby gallery, an intimate space showcasing local artists, and Lily eagerly agrees, her excitement tinged with nerves, wondering if she is imagining a connection stronger than the circumstances would normally allow. They wander among the paintings and sculptures, Mark commenting thoughtfully, genuinely interested in her opinions, while Lily feels a subtle pride in sharing her perspective, her creativity finally acknowledged and respected. At one point, Lily inadvertently drops her sketchbook near a corner display, and Mark quickly bends to help, his hand brushing hers in the process, a spark of electricity that neither of them attempts to label, yet both feel. The afternoon sunlight fades into a soft golden glow, and they find a quiet bench outside the gallery to rest, sipping the coffee Mark had insisted on ordering, the cups warm in their hands, grounding them as they share a comfortable silence. Lily feels her walls softening, the fear of rejection or judgment giving way to a tentative sense of hope and belonging, while Mark senses that he is witnessing a rare authenticity in her, a person who has weathered struggles, yet maintained her integrity and kindness. Before parting ways, Mark suggests they plan another meeting, perhaps a weekend visit to a local art fair. And Lily agrees with genuine enthusiasm, her smile bright, and a newfound sense of anticipation for the days ahead. As she walks home, she reflects on how a simple act of generosity, ordering an extra coffee, has unfolded into a day filled with connection, laughter, and mutual appreciation, planting the seeds for a story that could very well alter the trajectory of both their lives. The city hums around her, yet within her heart there is a quiet certainty that this encounter, born from a minor misunderstanding, is more than chance. It is the beginning of something unexpected, meaningful, and profoundly human, a bridge between two worlds that might finally allow both Lily and Mark to find the warmth, trust, and companionship they have long been seeking. The weekend arrives, and Lily Thompson wakes early, her sketchbook tucked under her arm and a small notebook filled with notes and ideas in her bag. The air is crisp with the promise of autumn, and the sunlight filters through the apartment window, casting warm patterns on the worn wooden floor. She hurries through her morning routine, her mind buzzing with anticipation as she heads toward the local art fair, where she has arranged to meet Mark Parker. The streets are lively with vendors setting up colorful booths, the scent of roasted coffee and fresh pastries mingling with the crisp scent of fallen leaves, creating a comforting, vibrant atmosphere. As she turns the corner near the entrance, she spots Mark already there, casually leaning against a lamppost with a relaxed posture that still exudes the quiet authority of someone accustomed to responsibility and attention, his eyes lighting up as they meet hers. Lily quickens her pace, a small nervous laugh escaping her lips, and Mark greets her with a genuine, warm smile, holding the door open for her as they enter the fair together. They weave through rows of local artwork, stopping at small paintings and handcrafted sculptures, each piece prompting conversation, opinions exchanged, and gentle teasing, the rapport between them growing stronger with each shared thought. Lily points out a miniature sculpture of a tree, noting the intricate details and the emotion captured in the piece, and Mark nods appreciatively, asking thoughtful questions about her own artistic inspirations and experiences, showing a level of attention and care that surprises her. At one booth, a local artist demonstrates watercolor techniques, and Lily crouches down to observe, instinctively sketching a few notes in her notebook. Mark watches her with admiration, noting the focused expression on her face, the way her eyes light up when she finds something that resonates, and the subtle excitement in her gestures. They pause at a small coffee stand, where Mark orders 2 hot drinks, insisting with a gentle grin that Lily deserves a warm moment just for herself, and she accepts, the heat of the cup grounding her as they continue their stroll through the fair. As they reach a quiet corner shaded by tall maples, Lily shares more about her personal life, the challenges of balancing work and bills, the longing to someday open a proper art studio, and the small joys she finds in her sketches, and the fleeting moments of connection she experiences with strangers and customers alike. Mark listens intently, never interrupting, offering empathy and the occasional encouraging word, reinforcing the sense that she is seen, understood, and appreciated. The conversation drifts naturally to future possibilities, the gentle excitement of potential collaboration, and dreams yet to be realized, creating a shared vision of exploration and creativity that bridges the gap between their different worlds. Mark suggests a small detour to a nearby gallery tucked away on a side street, an intimate space showcasing emerging artists, and Lily agrees eagerly, the anticipation adding a subtle flutter to her heartbeat. Inside the gallery, they move slowly among the exhibits, discussing brushstrokes, color choices, and the stories behind each piece. Mark offers his insights thoughtfully, careful not to overshadow her perspective, allowing Lily to feel valued and validated in her opinions. At one particularly detailed painting of a sunrise over a cityscape, Lily gasps softly, pointing out the delicate layering of colors, and Mark leans closer, his voice low and sincere, expressing genuine admiration for her observation, the subtle closeness between them hinting at a deepening connection that neither can deny. After a long morning of exploration, laughter, and shared insights, they find a quiet bench outside the gallery, the afternoon sun casting long shadows and bathing them in warmth, the city noise fading to a gentle backdrop. They sit side by side, the air between them comfortable, filled with unspoken understanding and mutual respect. Lily feels a sense of hope and possibility she has not experienced in months, while Mark senses the authenticity and resilience in her spirit, appreciating the way she carries herself despite the challenges she faces. As they rise to leave, Mark offers his arm, and Lily accepts with a light laugh, their steps in sync as they walk back toward the bustling streets, each step reinforcing the connection that has quietly grown between them. A connection born from a small act of kindness, nurtured by conversation, and strengthened by shared experiences, that promise the unfolding of a story neither of them anticipated, but both are eager to continue. As the weeks pass, Lily Thompson and Mark Parker continue to see each other, their meetings becoming a gentle rhythm that brings a sense of stability and warmth to both their lives. They meet for morning coffee, evening walks, and small excursions to local galleries and bookstores, each encounter deepening their understanding of one another. Lily finds herself sharing more personal stories, her laughter flowing more freely, and the small gestures of kindness from Mark, the way he remembers her favorite pastry, the thoughtful questions about her sketches, and the subtle encouragement when she doubts herself, build a quiet trust between them. One afternoon, Mark invites her to his office under the pretense of discussing a community art initiative, and Lily arrives with a mixture of curiosity and nerves, the city streets bustling around her, the autumn leaves swirling in golden patterns along the sidewalks. Inside the sleek office, Lily is momentarily taken aback by the contrast between this environment and the modest coffee shop and parks they have frequented. The polished floors, glass walls, and the faint hum of activity give the space an air of authority and wealth, yet Mark's demeanor remains familiar and unassuming, putting her at ease. As they sit across from each other, Mark begins to speak about a local charity event he is organizing, one that supports emerging artists and young creative talents, and he expresses a sincere interest in including Lily's work, highlighting the thoughtfulness and dedication she has shown in her sketches and her growing portfolio. Lily feels a surge of excitement mixed with disbelief, the opportunity overwhelming yet validating, a recognition of her talent and perseverance that she has long yearned for. As they discuss the event, Mark notices a subtle shift in Lily's posture, the way she leans forward slightly, eyes wide with anticipation, and the faintest trace of doubt, and he gently encourages her, emphasizing that her perspective and creativity are exactly what the event needs. After the meeting, they step outside into the crisp afternoon air, and the city seems to slow around them, the honking cars and hurried pedestrians fading into a soft backdrop as they walk together to a nearby park. Lily talks about her plans for the sketches she has been working on, the pieces she hopes to display, and the quiet aspirations she holds for her future art studio. her voice a mixture of excitement and cautious hope, while Mark listens intently, offering thoughtful feedback and subtle reassurances that her talents and ambitions are both valued and achievable. As the sun begins to dip toward the horizon, casting long golden rays across the park, Lily pauses at a bench, gazing at the colors reflected in a nearby pond, and Mark stands beside her, the warmth of his presence steadying her as they both take a moment to absorb the beauty around them. In that quiet, shared moment, Lily realizes the depth of the connection they have nurtured, how a small act of kindness, a coffee shared and a smile offered, has grown into a genuine bond built on mutual respect, admiration, and slowly unfolding affection. Mark, observing her thoughtful expression and the way her eyes reflect both wonder and determination, feels a protective and admiring impulse, a desire to support and stand beside her as she navigates her ambitions and daily challenges, and he subtly reaches out, brushing a stray lock of hair from her face, a gesture both intimate and tender. They walk back toward the city streets as evening settles in, the lights of the shops and street lamps casting a warm glow on the sidewalks. And Lily feels a growing sense of trust and anticipation, knowing that while the world outside is busy and unpredictable, this connection she shares with Mark is a constant, offering both inspiration and comfort, a rare and precious beginning that neither had anticipated yet both now cherish deeply. The day of the charity gala arrives, and Lily Thompson stands outside the grand venue, her heart pounding as she adjusts the hem of her modest yet carefully chosen dress, the city lights reflecting off the polished glass entrance and casting a warm glow onto the sidewalk. She takes a deep breath, reminding herself that she belongs here not because of wealth or status, but because of the talent and integrity she has nurtured in her art and the genuine connection she has formed with Mark Parker over the past weeks. As she steps into the elegant ballroom, the soft hum of conversation and the clinking of glasses envelop her, the opulent chandeliers casting sparkling patterns across the marble floors, and she is momentarily struck by the contrast between this world and the quiet streets, the parks, and the cafes where she has shared her mornings and afternoons with Mark. She moves through the crowd with careful steps, feeling both excitement and apprehension when a familiar voice calls her name. Turning, she sees Mark approaching, dressed in a tailored dark suit that accentuates his confident presence, a warm smile on his face. Yet there is a seriousness in his eyes that makes her pulse quicken. He offers his arm, and she accepts, feeling the steady reassurance of his presence as they walk toward a section of the room where the organizers are preparing to announce the guest of honor. Lily glances around nervously, catching snippets of conversations about donations, emerging artists, and corporate sponsors, and she senses the pressure and expectations of the environment, wondering if she will be able to navigate this world gracefully. Suddenly, the host announces, "Our guest of honor for today is Mr. Mark Parker." And a ripple of applause moves through the room. Lily's eyes widen, realization dawning on her as she pieces together the conversations, the subtle hints, and the moments of quiet authority she had glimpsed in Mark, finally understanding that the man who has shared coffees, walks, and conversations with her is not just a kind and attentive companion, but the single dad CEO she had unknowingly grown close to. Shock and a swirl of emotions grip her, a mixture of disbelief, awe, and a flicker of hurt that he had not revealed this truth sooner. She steps back, her hands clutching her purse as she processes the revelation, and Mark senses her tension, his brow furrowing slightly as he takes a careful step toward her. Lily retreats to a quiet corner of the ballroom, her chest tightening with the feeling of being deceived, and she watches as Mark attempts to navigate the crowd, pausing briefly to glance at her, his expression apologetic yet earnest, a silent plea for understanding. The minutes stretch, each one heavy with unspoken words, until Lily's courage prompts her to confront him, her voice trembling but determined as she asks, "Why did you not tell me who you really are?" Mark steps closer, lowering his voice to a gentle tone. "I wanted you to know me for who I am, not for my name, my title, or my wealth. I wanted our connection to be genuine, to see the real you, and to hope you would see the real me as well." Lily feels the tension in her chest ease slightly, yet the sting of deception lingers, her mind racing through every shared moment, every laugh, and every quiet gesture, questioning what it all means now. Mark reaches out, lightly touching her hand, a tentative gesture of reassurance, and Lily looks into his eyes, searching for honesty and sincerity, finding it reflected there in full measure. She realizes that despite the initial hurt, the foundation they have built over weeks of shared time, trust, and kindness remains intact, fragile yet resilient, offering a choice between retreat and the possibility of something deeper. The ballroom around them continues to bustle with elegance and celebration, but in their small, private space, time seems to pause, allowing Lily to weigh her feelings, to recognize the bond that has grown beyond misunderstanding, and to acknowledge that the man before her, the single dad CEO, has revealed not just his identity, but his vulnerability, and that this revelation, though jarring, is a chance to embrace honesty and perhaps a future together built on truth and mutual respect. After the initial shock of discovering Mark Parker's true identity, Lily Thompson steps outside into the cool evening air, the sounds of the bustling gala fading behind her as she takes deep, steadying breaths. The city streets glisten with reflections from the street lamps and passing cars, creating a mosaic of light that mirrors the swirl of emotions inside her. Her hands clutch the strap of her purse, knuckles white, and she paces briefly along the sidewalk, trying to untangle the mixture of disbelief, hurt, and lingering affection that churns within her. Mark follows cautiously, keeping a respectful distance at first, his own heart heavy with the knowledge that his concealment, though well-intentioned, has caused her pain, and he struggles to find the words that might bridge the sudden gap between them. Finally, he steps closer, voice low and earnest. "Lily, please understand. I never wanted to deceive you. I just needed us to meet as ourselves, without the weight of titles or expectations. Everything we shared, it was real." Lily stops walking, turning to face him, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears, and for a moment, the cool night air seems charged with the intensity of their emotions, each waiting for the other to take the next step. She inhales slowly, the scent of the city and faint traces of Mark's cologne mingling with the autumn breeze, and she allows herself to speak, her voice trembling but determined. "I needed to know the truth, Mark, not just for myself, but to feel that everything between us is genuine, that I can trust you fully." Mark nods, his expression softening, and he reaches out, offering a single, steady hand. "Then let me show you, in every way I can, that my intentions were always sincere, that I am here because of you, not because of any other reason." Lily studies his hand for a brief moment, weighing her pride, her doubts, and the warmth of the connection they have nurtured, before slowly placing her own hand into his, feeling the steadiness and reassurance it conveys. They walk together to a quiet nearby park, the soft crunch of fallen leaves underfoot and the gentle rustle of trees providing a calming rhythm. And Mark begins to describe a surprise he has been planning for her, a small gallery exhibit showcasing her work, curated with care and entirely dedicated to her sketches and paintings. Lily listens, breath-catching, as the realization sinks in that he has gone to great lengths not only to make amends, but to celebrate her passion and creativity, an acknowledgement of her talent that is both unexpected and deeply moving. At the gallery, the lights are warm and inviting, each piece displayed thoughtfully, capturing the essence of Lily's imagination and skill. Mark guides her through the space, his eyes filled with pride and admiration, and Lily feels a rush of gratitude and wonder, her heart swelling at the thoughtfulness and effort he has invested. Standing in the center of the exhibit, Mark gently takes both of her hands in his, looking into her eyes with unwavering sincerity, and he speaks softly. "Lily, I hope this shows you how much I value you, how much I have come to care for you. I want us to have a chance to continue building something real, together." Tears brim in Lily's eyes, a mixture of relief, joy, and love. And she realizes that the hesitation, the hurt, and the misunderstandings of the past weeks have led to this moment, a turning point where trust, honesty, and connection can flourish. With a small, radiant smile, she nods, her voice catching as she replies, "Yes, Mark, I am willing to give us a chance, to believe in what we have built together, and to move forward with honesty and trust." Mark smiles, a quiet, heartfelt expression. And as they stand together surrounded by her art, the soft lighting illuminating their faces, the city beyond the gallery windows, and the warmth of their mutual understanding, Lily feels a sense of peace and anticipation, knowing that this grand gesture is not only a gesture of apology and admiration, but a promise of commitment, a choice to embrace each other fully, and to write the next chapter of their story hand in hand, ready to face whatever challenges or joys lie ahead. Several weeks later, the gallery hosting Lily Thompson's exhibit is bustling with eager visitors, the walls adorned with her sketches and paintings, each piece illuminated by warm spotlights that highlight the delicate lines and vibrant colors she has poured her heart into. The atmosphere is electric, filled with the hum of conversation, soft footsteps echoing across the polished wooden floors, and the occasional clink of wine glasses from a nearby reception table. Lily moves gracefully among the crowd, greeting friends, acquaintances, and curious art lovers, her heart light and her smile radiant. But a small flicker of nervous anticipation lingers as she searches the room for Mark Parker. Outside the gallery doors, a sleek black car glides to a stop, and Mark steps out, dressed impeccably, exuding both quiet confidence and unmistakable warmth as he carries a small, elegantly wrapped package. His eyes meet Lily's, and in that instant, all the weeks of shared laughter, walks, coffees, and moments of genuine connection flood her mind, a tapestry of memories and emotions intertwining. Mark approaches her, his movements deliberate and calm, and he extends the package with a gentle, encouraging smile. "I thought you might like this," he says softly, his voice carrying both affection and a sense of ceremony, and Lily carefully unties the ribbon, revealing a finely crafted sketchbook, leather-bound and embossed with her initials. A thoughtful gift, symbolizing recognition of her talent and the journey they have shared. She is momentarily speechless, touched not only by the gesture, but by the deeper sentiment it represents, a celebration of her art, her perseverance, and the bond they have nurtured despite differences in circumstance and social standing. Mark takes a deep breath and continues, his gaze steady and earnest. "Lily, from the moment we met, I knew there was something extraordinary about you. This gallery, your talent, your heart, they are all remarkable. But what truly matters is the person you are. And I want to spend the rest of my life supporting and cherishing you." Lily feels a warmth spreading through her chest, tears welling in her eyes as she realizes the depth of his sincerity and the enormity of the choice he is making in that moment, offering not just words, but a commitment that bridges the gap between their worlds. She places her hand over his, her fingers trembling slightly, and whispers, "Mark, I never imagined that a simple coffee, a mistake at a table, could lead to this. But I have learned that honesty, kindness, and trust can build something beautiful. I want to be with you, to share in all the moments ahead, and to embrace this life together." The crowd around them continues to admire the art and mingle. Yet in their own space, time seems suspended, the city and its noises fading to a soft backdrop as they stand close, hands intertwined, hearts aligned, and eyes locked with mutual understanding and love. Mark gently guides her to a small, secluded corner of the gallery where soft lighting bathes them in a golden glow, and he kneels, producing a delicate ring from his pocket, the gesture intimate and unassuming, yet monumental in its significance. "Lily Thompson, will you marry me? Will you allow me to be part of your world and let us build a future together?" His voice is steady, filled with love and hope, and Lily, overcome with emotion, nods through tears, her voice breaking only to say, "Yes, Mark, yes, 1,000 times yes." Applause and cheers from friends and onlookers reach them. But the moment remains intensely personal, a culmination of weeks of connection, understanding, and mutual admiration transformed into a lifelong commitment. They embrace, the warmth of their bodies and hearts melding as the gallery lights shimmer around them. And in that embrace, Lily feels the culmination of her journey from uncertainty, struggle, and a simple blind date, to recognition, trust, and profound love, knowing that what began as a minor misstep at a cafe has become the best mistake of her life. A story of serendipity, sincerity, and the beautiful unfolding of two lives intertwining completely, promising laughter, partnership, and unwavering support for all the days to come.